Techno. Radical. Radical. Techno. Radical.
just to see you come back home. But each step that you took towards her, well, you took each one alone. And every time you said, my God, how is it up there on that phone? Well, I've been waiting on your feet just to hear you say that I'm not needed. I said I was an honest man, you said I wasn't at all, but I wanted it. Well, I think you're just afraid of the fall, but you won't be there at all, no, you won't be there. And oh, my God, I hope you're falling apart. My God, I hope you're falling into oh, my God, I hope you're falling apart. It's gonna be the start of what you are. Well, I remember when you said that you hate everything I do. You didn't have a reason, then wish I'd given one to you. And then you would say, oh, my God, I couldn't know what you've been through. Well, I've been waiting on your feet just to hear you say that I'm not needed. I said I was an honest man, you said I wasn't at all, but I wanted it. Well, I think you're just afraid of the fall, but you won't be there at all, or you won't be there. And oh, my God, I hope you're falling apart. My God, I hope you're falling into oh, my God, I hope you're falling apart. It's gonna be the start of what you are. I said I was an honest man, you said I wasn't at all, but I wanted it. Well, I think you're just afraid of the fall, but you won't be there at all, or you won't be there. And oh, my God, I hope you're falling apart. My God, I hope you're falling into oh, my God, I hope you're falling apart. It's gonna be the start of what you will. My God, I hope you're falling apart. My God, I hope you're falling into oh, my God, I hope you're falling apart. It's gonna be the start of what you are.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the ZADs Galaxy Tour. This is Season 8 of the ZADs Galaxy Tour, brought to you by Zealous Racing League. My name is Shim. I will be your broadcaster and commentator for tonight's race. We've got 60 minutes, 1 hour at the beautiful Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium. And this is going to be an exciting race because this starts our Season 8. This is round 1 of Season 8. We have 7 tracks that are going to be on this season's lineup. We've got all 3 new US tracks, as well as a driver's choice track coming up next week. But that's not where we are yet. We are currently at Spa, and we are 8 minutes away from the start of the race. I'm excited to bring you this coverage of the race. Before we have our 1 hour race, we're going to have 15 minutes of qualifying for all the drivers to set the fastest lap that they can. During the race, there is 1 mandatory pit stop. During this pit stop, they are required to change tires, and they may fill up with fuel if they so choose. So a lot of strategy tonight, a lot of options for our drivers. And we have quite the lineup of drivers out on the field today. Some notable names such as KP, Kenneth Portis, Long-time standing racer for in the Zealous Racing League circuits and also one of the admins, as well as some returners like Matt Fender out there doing some laps, doing some practice. Christopher Flores currently in the pits. Got JJ Burr out there. JJ and Fender actually recently participated in the Zealous Racing League mini ZAD Duro that we had a few weeks ago. That was kind of a trial run for Zealous into the realm of endurance racing. Only 2 hours, and it was at Silverstone, but it was the longest race that Zealous has done to my knowledge. Other returners from last season, we got Glenn Pino out there in the CrowdStrike Mercedes, rocking that AMG this season. Got Calvin Wolf, another ZRL admin out there doing some practice laps, getting some familiarity with the current circuit conditions. And welcome to all those in the chat. I see we already have some strong support for some of our drivers. Chris Rise, a newcomer to Zealous from Odyssey Esports, it looks like. To my knowledge, this is his first time racing with Zealous. Let's see what he has. Also got some support for Justin Friesen out there from Knucklehead Racing. I'm actually quite a good friend of Justin, also nicknamed Slim. Probably will be called. Ooh, a little bit of a mistake there from the number 18 driver. But also known as Slim. I'm a good friend of Justin. He's been racing that Ferrari for many seasons now. Seems to be the car that he likes. Got Melon Pitch also in the pits currently, but let's take a closer look at that wonderful livery, Crash Course Racing, with the Rugrats dinosaur on it. See some other returners. Got Bellinger. Got, let's see if I can find, got Turnbull, James Turnbull. I already mentioned JJ Burr. Juan Valero. Juan raced with Zealous last season, although he was in a different class. I was able to race in the last season of Zealous. Last season they did 10 tracks and they had mixed class racing. That was the first time Zealous did mixed class racing. And I was in the GT4 class, while I believe Valero raced in the GT3s like he is driving right now, that Honda NSX. Thank you, Kami. Well, thank you for the subscribe. Currently, some of our fastest drivers are actually driving that that Honda NSX. This is a pretty good track for a fast car like the NSX. Spa-Francorchamps, known for its intimidating Eau Rouge Radeon complex there up the hill, blind. This is using the old layout of Spa. Don't believe any sim to my knowledge has the new layout of Spa. They just redid that to make sure that the drivers, for safety reasons, are lifting going into Radeon and Eau Rouge. But for these GT3 cars, that's going to be a flat out up the hill blind. And for a car like the NSX, it's this is a good track for that. High speed is rewarded for the first and third sector being very high speed sectors of this track. I see talk on with this track specifically multiple different strategies that drivers will use. Sometimes they'll go for a more downforce heavy. Thank you, Thygo, for the. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Thygo. For the sub. like I was saying, there's kind of two methodologies for setups on Spa, either high downforce for that sector 2 to get a lot of time there, or lower downforce for the long straight sections. And I'm no expert, but in my very untrained opinion, I really believe that the low downforce setups do shine at Spa. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what a lot of people see with that higher downforce. Maybe if they went for a middle downforce to kind of get the best of both worlds. But going high downforce for Sector 2, Sector 2 is such a small part of the track. Small part. I mean, this is a large circuit, but it's such a small part in comparison to those two very long straights. I really feel that the only way to really get the maximum out of your car is to um, is to use a low downforce setup for those straights. So we'll see what drivers are going to be doing. We'll see how it plays out. Looks like in practice here we got almost 2 minutes left. We're setting some 218s for KP and Valero there. Valero within 5 thousandths of a second from KP there in the lead. And we got Zhang about a half a second behind him in that Ferrari 448. That's a pretty rapid time for the Ferrari on this course. JJ Burr coming into fourth there with the current times of the practice session with that beautiful BMW M4. I know some people don't care for the look of the M4. I'm one of those people that I don't mind it. I think it looks just fine. I know it looks like it's got big buck teeth in front, but boy oh boy, I do like myself a good BMW. But as we wind down this practice session, let's go take a look at some of our drivers out there. Take a look at Zhang there. See how he's going to do. Just watch him as he comes in for the final lap here. Goes a little bit wide into the bus stop chicane there. Looks like he's just going to go pit. Take a look at the next driver, 95. If I can find it, Kevin Yu. He's going to go out for another lap. Just going to watch these drivers as they come in from these last laps. Like I mentioned, we got a 1 hour race with a mandatory pit stop, and refueling is allowed. So it's going to be really interesting to see what drivers do. Like the endurance events where you really needed to pit to last the whole race there. Drivers, if they really wanted to, don't have to get fuel during this race. Now, that's probably going to make them a lot slower, unnecessarily slower in that first part of the race. But if you don't want to worry about fuel consumption, you could just set your fuel and forget it for the race and just get tires. The only issue with that, like I said, is that first half of the race, you're going to be a lot heavier than some people who might choose to, fill up the tank half of the way for the first half and fill up the other half of the tank for the second half. A strategy that I personally like to use on races like this, where you have maybe an hour and you get a mandatory pit stop, is I like to fill up my car with a little bit more than half of the race fuel that I'll need, just to open up my options in terms of when I take my pit stop. Because if you put less fuel in, you're a lot more locked in early in the race regarding when you can make your pit stop. So by adding a little bit more fuel, it just gives you a little bit more wiggle room. All right, looks like we are just finishing up our practice session there though. And moving into qualifying, 15 minutes of qualifying for the race today. Let's take a helicam and see who's out there. I'm gonna just go through all these. Looks like Kenneth Portis is taking the first slot out there. Open track. Currently, the racetrack is 32 degrees Celsius with a air temperature, ambient temperature of 24. Track is optimal. Looks like just overcast on the horizon for weather today. Well, with these season races, there is a possibility for rain, always a possibility for rain. In the last year, they did tweak the rain settings to make it a little bit less likely because it seemed to happen in the first two races every time during the last season of Zealous Racing League, of the Galaxy Tour, I should say. So I do believe they've tweaked those settings just a little bit to make it maybe a little bit more random and spread out those rain courses, those rain races throughout the season a little bit more. We also do have a rain mercy rule in Zealous Racing League, where if there are 2 rain races in a season, then the dry mercy rule is enacted, and all races after those 2 will be dry. So it looks like so far, and I should actually clarify that it doesn't matter if it's a race or a qualifying session, it's just 2 sessions, or like 2 sessions in back-to-back weeks, or in separate weeks, I should say. So if a race and a qualifying is raining, that's 1. Even if it's just 1 qualifying session 1 week, that's also 1. And as we cross the line here, Kenneth, KP Portis is going on his first hot lap here in that Honda NSX. We'll follow him for this first lap and see how he does. And what we might do for this first lap is do a chase cam of Kenneth Portis as he goes up Eau Rouge and Radion here. A little bit of a lift, it seems. And as you can see in front of him, we already have another car on the track in front of him. We do have 28 racers this season. That is a ton of racers. So it should be some crowded tracks out there. But let's just watch KP as he goes through his first lap, as he goes now down into the more technical sector 2. Gets a little bit wide there, kind of double apex it there. Brake, and try to go as wide as you can into this one. Power on early, get as much power as you can. Looks like he's maybe still trying to warm up tires, because I don't think he's taking that as fast as I normally would think he would. But we are in chase cam, could be a bit deceptive. To the sweeping right then left-hander here. Trying to get on the power early into the curbing. Another early power, and on this turn here into the next sector 3 long straight, you're gonna want to get as much power early as possible to maximize the speed. Now with Spa being such a long circuit, they're not going to get as many attempts here, these drivers, to set a valid valid qualifying lap. So we'll see how this goes from all the drivers as KP comes in for his first hot lap. Setting a 2:18.1. That seems to be a pretty fast lap considering what he was running in practice. Let's come in behind him here, watch the 29 car. Come in as well, Matthew Reed. 2 seconds up, 2.3 seconds up in that Lamborghini. Got James Turnbull now on his first hot lap. Coming in behind, we also have Baudry just setting a 2:22, with Bellinger coming in close behind him with a 2:22.9. That's 0.5 seconds behind Baudry. Dudzik setting not quite a fast lap. Hope that's not representative of his fastest lap time, and he could still be warming up those tires. That is completely plausible. Rise just setting a 2-minute 21. Almost 3 seconds back from our pole sitter Portis. Our tentative pole sitter Portis, I should say. Valero 2 seconds back as well from Portis. Everyone seems to be settling in with their first lap in that 2-minute 20 section, but I imagine that some other drivers will soon get some laps closer to Portis here. Definitely going to be some spin ballas on Eau Rouge for sure. Eau Rouge is tricky even for the best drivers. Looks like Valero is going to just let some traffic pass, try to get a clear spot of air. Not happy with his laps here. Kevin Yu, currently our P3 tentatively, is again only 5 thousandths of a second behind Valero at that first practice lap. The first qualifying lap, I should say. Portis goes one faster. Oh, you just clips a little bit of the edge. Looks like the driver behind him there, the 444 driver, Bellinger, just causing a little bit of mayhem stopping on that one side there. Let's go back into our TV cams here as we follow some of our drivers. Let's take a look at the 7-Eleven car of JJ Burr in that BMW. Has yet to set a time, but I believe this is his first fast lap. And I think he maybe... Let's go back. Nope, he's still on his fast lap. Let's watch JJ as he goes through. We've got some more drivers crossing the line here. Dudzik goes a little bit faster. Our Scott sets his first lap, Ricky Scott. 2-minute 23.2. Anthony Camacho sets his first lap, a 2-minute 32nd. So you watch JJ Burr coming down the sweeping downhill section here in Sector 2. Brakes going into the winding S's here. And as he looks to get a good runoff here, and hoping not to break, going flat out now to the not so straight here. I know it's not straight, but for all intents and purposes, in almost every single car you can take this flat out. Even this kink here, you can take flat out in almost every car. The only car that I've had considerable trouble going through that kink in is the Mercedes AMG. And as JJ goes across the line here shortly, he's going to set his first lap of a 2-minute 19.5. That puts him into P3 tentatively. And as we were doing that, Zhang just got a 2-minute 18.1, putting himself in P2. Quite a fast driver there. With times like that too, with the race, it could be anyone's game, and he's gonna be across the line here shortly. Can he go one faster? Doesn't appear that he can. Was probably slowed down. I mean, he got a 2-minute 42 that last lap. Definitely got slowed down on the way. We got 5 minutes of qualifying left. Looks like a car stopped on the track up there. Scapinello just got a little bit loose going up Eau Rouge and Radion there. Call me Polka, you are right on. Going to be a lot of carnage going through Eau Rouge. Our drivers are going to need to be very careful going through Eau Rouge with how many drivers we have. It's not going to end well if we have a lot of crashes right there on lap 1. We do have live stewarding, so if there is something, we will have a red flag. If there is something large that we need to stop for, especially on the starts. With this being sim racing, though, you know, in most circumstances, we can keep going, which is good. And in all circumstances, unless you have a very powerful direct drive wheel and you hurt yourself there, our drivers are going to be just fine if they get into an accident in this. So again, I want to thank you all for coming. My name is Shim. I'm the new broadcaster, I should say, new broadcaster um, and commentator for Zealous Racing League. I've raced with Zealous for 2 seasons, season 6 and 7, and just recently I became the broadcaster. My first broadcasting attempt was during the mini ZAD Duro that we had 2 weeks ago at Silverstone. So this is my first attempt at a regular season race. If you're unfamiliar with Zealous, Zealous is a primarily North American-based sim racing community. Really try to provide quality sim racing leagues for quote-unquote gentlemen racers in the United States. And really around the world. We have drivers from all over the world: Brazil, the United Kingdom, France. Really, drivers come from everywhere to race with us. But we try to provide a gentleman's racing league sort of vibe to Assetto Corsa Competizione, and try to emulate that racing experience and provide that racing community for everyday folks like you and I. You know, sim racing is a beautiful thing that we have. Allows us to get on some of our favorite tracks from around the world, and it allows us that in most cases we might not even be able to visit in real life. Some of us might never be able to see these tracks in real life, but we can still experience this history and these beautiful tracks in almost one-to-one scale on these games, and that's something truly beautiful, I think. So that's what Zealous is here for. We're here to provide that community. We're here to provide that racing. As we go into our last minute and 40 seconds of qualifying. Currently, we've got KP setting our fastest lap of 2:17.975. He's our pole sitter. We've got Zhang right behind him. A new fast lap from Jeremy Story. Story now our P3. Matthias Tada, or Tada I should say, in the Audi, one of our Brazilian racers, it appears. In P4, JJ Burr in the BMW, currently P5. Looks like he's going on his last attempt here. James Turnbull in the Audi again. Working to set his fastest lap now in the not so straight. We got Justin Friesen, aka Slim, P7. I think he's going to be happy with that. Kevin Yu, P8. Juan Valero, P9. Matt Fender, P10. Reed is in 11. Jimmy Olsen in 12. Chris Rise, P13. Christopher Flores, P14. Wolf in 15. Pitch in 16. Bellinger in 17. Baudry in 18. Just got overtook by Afonso that just took 17. Better wait just a second until all these laps come in too before I give the final verdict, but it does appear to be the case though that our Hondas are the OP car, and Kenneth Portis setting an even faster lap, his last lap. just solidifying that pole. And qualifying is officially over. We have a wait time of 1 minute 40 seconds to let these drivers get their last lap in. Appears that everyone has, or most people have set a lap. We've got a couple people, Nick Wyatt, who has not set a lap yet, and Fabiano Cadito, who has also not set a lap in that Bentley. They're going to be starting at the back of the grid then. Let's take a look at these drivers. Try to set a faster lap. Valero set a faster lap his last time through, putting him up into P3. Great effort from that Honda. Like you said, it does appear to be the case that our Hondas are the car to use at Spa, which, to be honest, I don't believe is a surprise to anyone. Honda's an absolutely rapid car, especially down straights, and with the straights here, it's pretty much a match made in heaven for that car. KP sets an even faster lap last time through. As we watch Valero go through the bus stop on his final lap through, 16 seconds left, 15. See if number 8, the car of Ricky Scott, can even set a lap here. And Valero does set a faster lap, but it doesn't get him any place better. Keeps him into P3 as we go into the race portion of tonight's stream. All right. So the starting order for tonight's 60-minute race at Spa-Francorchamps is P1, Kenneth Portis, P2, Zhang, P3, Juan Valero, P4, Jeremy Story, P5, Matthew Tutta, P6, JJ Burr, P7, Kevin Yu, P8, we got James Turnbull, P9, we got Justin Friesen, P10, Matt Fender, P11, Matthew Reed, P12, Jimmy Olsen, P13, we got Chris Rise, P14, Christopher Flores, P15, ZRL admin, Calvin Wolf, P16, Melon Pitch, P17, Santello, P18, Anthony Camacho, P19, Alfonso, P20, Bellinger, P21, Baudry, P22, Ricky Scott, P23, Todd Cormer, yep, P24, Glenn Pino, we got Pedro in 25, Scapinello in 26, Sean Dudzik in 27, Nicholas Wyatt in 28, and Fabiano Candido in 29. So that's our starting lineup. Shout out to all those in chat. Be sure to show your support to your favorite driver tonight. Seems like you guys are already up there going. We got some love for Chris Rise in there and Tutta. We also got some love in there to the 28 of Slim Friesen in that Ferrari. And let's take a look as we go through the Helicam. We're going to want the best view possible of this race, and we'll hit drive so we can get a good look at what's going on. Now, there is not a full warm-up lap. This is the quick run into the start. So our drivers are going to need to be smart and calculated going up Eau Rouge. If you are side by side, you are going to need to give room. So, welcome, Zakora. So, a win. Ooh, who are some favorites? Well, I'm not familiar with everyone on the track currently, but Kenneth Portis is a longtime racer and admin for Zealous. Very quick in that Honda NSX. Um, he might be the favorite to win with the lap times that he's been setting. But let's take a quick look. Let's take a break here. And let's watch the start of this race. As we go down the field, go down the start-finish line, or I should say the back start part of the start-finish line. We got a drive-through from Pedro right away, and they are going green. KP gets an early lead up to Eau Rouge. Let's take a look in the back here, make sure that there's no carnage. Doesn't appear that there's any yellow yet, a little bit. Everyone seems clean so far. Up into the main straight here. Up on top of the hill, KP taking up a demanding lead right off the bat into our first hard braking zone after the straight. We got 3 wide. Everyone's staying clean. Let's take a quick look further back, make sure everyone's clean. Doesn't appear that we have anyone falling back. This is good racing so far. As we take in a look at the middle of the pack here, as we go into Sector 2 on the first lap of the 60-minute race at Spa-Francorchamps. Everyone being very careful on these opening laps, making sure not to jeopardize their whole race on the first lap. Doesn't appear that we have any major overtakes, but it looks like Justin Friesen did go back a few places. I believe he started P9, now P10. Fender overtook him. Appears that everything's green so far. No incidents yet on this first lap. Good clean racing from everyone so far. Portis already making a commanding lead here. Half a second on the first lap. See if Zhang can stick with him. Zhang and Portis already getting a second lead ahead of Valero, also in that Honda NSX. As they go down there, Portis about to finish the first lap. Zhang getting quite close, sticking with Portis for this first lap. And this is where we'll see what our drivers really are going to do for their strategies. Who took more fuel so that they can have more options, who took less so that they can pit early. We do have a mandatory pit stop in this race. As everyone goes across the start-finish line, we have last one to cross it. We have Nick Watt. Doesn't appear that there's a pit window, so we do have some folks going in. Got Scapinello going in for his pit stop, it seems, and Pedro serving his drive-through right away. Pedro in that Mercedes AMG. Taking a look as Valero goes up the hill here. Those first 2 drivers really pulling ahead now. The gap from Zhang is only half a second to Portis. He's trying to stay as close as he can. We have a train here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it looks like, all running really close to each other. I'd say another person to watch out for in this race is Valero here, another NSX driver. Depending on strategy, he could get an early advantage. And that is a good point from our viewer, Call Me Poca. The pit pit lane for Spa is ridiculously long. Not only do you have to go across the start-finish straight, but you have to turn the corner and go to the straight right next to it, the next straight going up Eau Rouge. Zhang and Portis now 2 seconds up on Valero. So As we move up here, looks like Justin Friesen has gotten overtaken now in P13. Melon Pitch in the Nismo. I do have to commend Pitch for running in that Nissan. Not the meta car, as I would say, but I'm glad he has the bravery to go through with it. He is a braver man than I. A lot of people getting a little squirrely out of the bus stop chicane there. As we watch Fender feeling some pressure from Reed there in the Lambo. Let's watch them nice and closely as they go down the start finish. So go up Eau Rouge. Doesn't appear that we've had any incidents yet other than that start. I think it's that speed limit infraction by Pedro. 18 of the 18 of Dudzik. Oh, seems to have had a slight issue on the first corner. Lots of damage on that BMW. The 991 car of Scapanello already has a stop-go 30-second penalty. I wonder if that's for cutting the corner on Eau Rouge. Definitely could be, or maybe it's for contact with Dudzik. I am not sure what. But Scapanello is currently running in last place. Could have been a pit lane infraction. Taking a look at P4 here, looks like a lot of action actually back there between Story, Kevin Yu, and all of these drivers running 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nice close battle here between these guys. Between Story, Yu, Burr, and Turnbull. Take a look at Burr here as they go. They're running all very close. Staying under a second between each other as they go into the bus stop chicane here. And as we take a look at all of the rest of our drivers, Zhang is still holding with Portis. Now I believe we actually do have more drivers in the league currently. Some of them aren't able to make it to this first race. Oh, we have an incident in the number 30 car of Michael Santello. I do not know what happened there. Maybe got some damage. Let's take a closer look at his car. Doesn't appear that he's got any damage, much damage if any. Just an unfortunate little spin there going into the bus stop. Let's take a look back between some of our front runners here. Maybe even our battle here between Wolf and Pitch. Got a great battle for 15th here. Actually, that's between Wolf and Flores. Great battle for 15. Both of these guys in that McLaren 720S. Beautiful car. So far, the prediction from our viewer Polka seems to be accurate. Portis, and we have another incident there. The 999 car of ooh, looks like some damage in the back there. What that looks like, ooh, very close there. We're almost running into Pino. Seems to have made it through just fine though. Looks like there's a bit of damage on Pino's car there too. Some of these back runners getting into some issues. Wonder if that's bumping with other drivers or if that's self-inflicted damage. Looks like some damage on Bellinger's car there on the side as well. A little bit of damage between some of our drivers here. Let's look at Olsen and a lot of our drivers here. A lot of battling here for P11. Between Olsen, Rise, Friesen, and Pitch. Let's just watch this, see how it pans out. So many good battles going out on the track tonight. Looking at my screen, I can see that Portis is now a second ahead of Zhang. looks to be pulling away, but that could have been because he was in the bus stop. Gap is now about a second between those two. Now let's watch as this gets dicey here going into the hairpin as they look up Eau Rouge and Radion. It does appear that there are a lot of destroyed bumpers. Again, I wonder if that's self-inflicted or if there are a few incidences going out on the track. A great battle between Rise and Olsen here as they go up Eau Rouge. Looks like Rise maybe cut the corner a little bit there. Now, we did have in our briefing that our drivers are not to overtake if they do cut that corner. If we find that they cut that corner and get an advantage, even into the braking zone there, up the hill, we will slap a 15-second penalty on them. So our drivers are really, incentivized to race clean and race within the track boundaries. Got some great racing between these guys here. Let's take a look at the Helicam as they go into Sector 2 here. Rise getting awfully close into this downhill section. It looks like Olsen's getting a little squirrely, and that allows Rise to get a bit closer, and looks like there's some fighting even behind them between Friesen. 4 cars battling it out here, it seems like, but it looks like there's 2 battles even though they're so close. One between Olsen and Rise, the other between Friesen and Pitch. Damage is not represented by the yellow bar. Damage is represented mostly by cosmetic damage that you can see, Zakora. The yellow by the side of them over here, that's either, if you're talking about the yellow line that's right to the right of their name, that is their latency or their ping. Ooh, Olsen goes a little bit wide into the bus stop chicane. That's going to give Rise a better run into the start finish. Rise is ahead, P11. Great overtake there, nice and clean, but it's not over yet. He takes the defensive line. Oh! Friesen spins around. Looks like Pitch might have bumped him there. That sends Friesen spinning around. That's not what we want to see there. Friesen is now wide and running lower, P18. Wonder what's going to happen there. Looks like Pitch did slow down there and is hopefully going to concede that position there. I think he knows that he did that, and it does appear that he is going to be slowing down a little bit for Friesen to take back that spot. That's some good courteous racing there. Unfortunate, looks like they just got a little bit too close, and to be honest, we still got 47 minutes left in this race, so there's still a lot of time to get back that. Now, there was some close racing, so we'll see what can happen there, but let's just take a look at the driving between Yu and Burr here. It seems to be a pretty close battle. After Rise takes that P11 position, he's pulling away now from Olsen. Still got some battles there too between Pitch and Friesen, but we'll take a look here and focus on some other drivers between Yu and Burr here. Only 3/10, and it looks like Burr's maybe going to get a better run into this long, not so straight. Closing in behind these guys, we've got Turnbull in that Audi. Audi is a pretty strong car for the lineup of tracks that we have going on this season. Like I said, this is the opening round of Season 8, which consists of 7 different rounds, 3 of which include the new tracks from the American DLC that just launched a week ago. Or 2 weeks ago, I should say. Burr getting a lot closer in that braking zone. A lot more confident on those brakes, but it looks like Yu's going to get a better run up Eau Rouge. Got a car in the pits, the 57 car of Pino. He's taking a pit stop. Pino's a regular streamer, the old Canadian gamer. And I know he's mostly just in it for the fun. You know, he's out there racing all the time. He really loves motorsport. You can tell that from his streams. You know, everyone here at Zealous Racing League is really in it for the love of motorsport. I'm willing to bet almost all of these guys watch motorsport in their free time, as do I. And as does to everyone that really gets into sim racing, I would think. Like I mentioned earlier, it really allows us folks who never would really be able to drive these cars in real life or see some of these circuits in real life. It gives us the opportunity to race these historic locales in beautiful machinery and do it with people who share a similar love of racing as you do. Burr looks to just be sizing up his opponent here. Honestly, might just be sticking behind you. Maybe saving some tires, just trying to stick with him. Hopefully he's not pushing too hard. And if he is, he really should be making that move sooner rather than later. But he could just be spending some time saving tires here. Looks like pitch has fallen back quite a bit as well. Seems to have maybe been an issue. While Friesen holds on to P17. Fender P10, that's where he started. Reed is in P9. Burr, and Turnbull are just having a great race here. Some nice close racing between these three. And as we go into 43 minutes left, let's take a look at our leader, Kenneth Portis. Not holding as commanding of a lead as I maybe expected. Zhang is holding on quite well to Portis in that Honda. And Valero, while further back, is still holding his own. Just taking a look, making sure there's nothing that I'm missing. Looks like Zhang is just holding on to Portis there. This really could come down to a pit stop. With that pit lane being so long, it could provide an opportunity for an overtake with pit stops. Track has cooled off a little bit since we've started. Track is now 30 degrees Celsius compared to the 31 when the race started. Let's take a look at some of these battles further back. Got a three-way battle for P11 between Olsen, Rise, and Olsen, Flores, I should say, and Wolf. As Flores looks to make a move on the inside here, but it looks like Olsen just cut him off going into this winding right-left S section. Trying to block off as much as he can. Olsen's trying to stick with Rise up there in P11, but goes a little wise, Olsen. He's going to probably get a bit of a warning for that. Does allow Flores to get a bit closer. Now, if I was racing, I would be running probably somewhere in this pack because I am not that fast. I believe when I was racing close to the likes of Fender and Wolf. Friesen was definitely ahead of me too, so that would be about right. And let's take a look at a bit different view of this battle here. Looks like Portis is trying to pull away. Now 1 minute or 1 second, 1.7 seconds ahead of Zhang. as these three go up Eau Rouge. Olsen trying to take it as flat out. We got somebody coming out of the pits there. The 991 car of Scapinello. Flores down the straight, looking to make a move on the inside. Can't get ahead. Olsen goes deep into the braking zone. Gets a bit squirrely. Definitely just over braking. Gets a little squirrely again. And Flores really needs to make it stick here because Olsen is making mistakes. Him and Wolf might be able to sneak their way through here. If you're just tuning in, you're joining our round 1 coverage of Zealous Racing League Season 10 of the ZADs Galaxy Tour, our normal racing league, at the beautiful Spa-Francorchamps. We do have overcast skies, currently no sign of rain on the forecast, but it's getting cloudier and cloudier as the race goes on. Oh, it looks like we have some yellow with our leaders up there. Looks like Pino, again, going into the pits, looks to have some more damage on that car. I wouldn't be surprised if he's having a little bit of trouble on that kink too, because I know every time I drive the Mercedes AMG, and I'm not saying this is for everyone, but like, I always lose it on that kink. I can never take it correctly. So it looks like he's just going in for another pit stop here. Let's cut back to this great battle between Olsen, Flores, and Wolf as they go into the first hairpin here. Not much has changed with that hairpin over the years. All right, as they go up Eau Rouge again. We'll see if Flores can make it stick down this, on this chance, down the straight. Looks to, again, have more speed. He needs to make it stick here, needs to make it stick. Can he inch ahead? He's just not able to. But he is putting the pressure on Olsen there. Hopefully Olsen can make a mistake, or at least Flores is hoping. I'm not hoping Olsen makes a mistake, but that is what Flores is going to be hoping for. Let's take a look at some of the other battles going on here. We've got some battles between you and Burr still. Looks like Burr has not been able to make the move just yet. Looks like those are really our closest battles right now. And taking a look at our leader, Kenneth Portis really pulled ahead of Zhang, now 4.6 seconds up. Down the straight, I should say. 4.6 seconds up on the straight. It's only going to amount to about maybe 3 seconds, and I was pretty much spot on. 3 seconds when you get into that acceleration zone. Pit window is now open for 15 minutes. Drivers starting to take their pit stops. Looks like this 711 car of JJ Burr is going in for an early pit stop right away, hoping to get an advantage. 18 car of Dudzik again into the gravel. .37 car of Pedro. After that, seems like after that drive-through penalty, is just having a pretty uneventful race, which I can imagine he's probably happy with. We've got some other drivers going in for their pit stop. Ricky Scott is going in for his. Looks like so far those are our only two. And Portis trying to pull his is way ahead. He got the pole and he's still ahead now. Looking at my gap down these faster seconds, he's pulling to about 4.6 seconds ahead of Zhang. And Valero holding to about 4.5 seconds behind Zhang. Tada, again, kind of having an uneventful race, it seems like, holding on to that P4, which again, I'm sure he's happy with. That's nothing, it's no disrespect. That's holding a very respectable position in this grid. A lot of fast drivers. And even though this first race might be a bit skewed for the NSX, we've got 7 races to decide our winner of this season. Looking at some other racers here, we got Nick Wyatt currently going into the pits with a bit of damage on the front end of that Audi. As Scott takes his pit stop here. We've got Dudzik going in for his pit stop during the window. And Portis opting to stay out another lap, as do all the other drivers there in the lead. Turnbull going in for his pit stop. Turnbull running P7 currently. See who else. Let's see. We've got the 57 of Peño going in. And as you see, drivers are starting to clear out their pit stops. Anthony Camacho in that BMW. Now coming in for his pit stop with Justin Friesen. Now P15 coming in behind. Like I mentioned, fueling is allowed in this race. Let's take a look at the helicam as drivers are going by. We have all of our drivers, it seems like most of them coming in. Friesen, Baudry coming in. And Portis still opting to stay out there. Honestly, with how well he's running, if he can keep himself going. As the track darkens here at Spa, still no rain on the forecast in 30 minutes. It'll be interesting to see what happens. If there might be a chance of rain as it gets darker and darker at today's race. As it gets darker, it gets a bit cooler on the track too. Zhang is pulling ahead just a little bit of Valero. Taking a look at maybe some of our battles, Reed seems to have been able to pull a move on Fender. Actually, Fender was still ahead. Never mind. So we just watch this race unfold. This is kind of the lull actions. It's kind of tricky right now. It's partially a lull in the race. It's partially action. Looks like Rise going in for his pit stop. I think that's Rise, or is that... let's take a look. Yep, looks like Rise going in for his pit stop. Wolf, Olsen in for his. Rise in for his. Story in for his. That's who I saw. This is a crucial part of the race here as drivers look to make this pit stop. This could be some people's only chance at overtaking. You know, if they're having trouble, this might be their chance. Candido going in for his pit stop as we see one of the McLarens behind him taking a bit of a different line than I've seen. Santello cutting that a little bit tight. And looks like car behind him is a lapped car, but getting pretty close nonetheless there. see if there's any other battles. Looks like a battle between Reed and Fender here. As we watch and wait for our leaders of the race to pit. You know, part of this strategy too is making sure that you don't come into traffic when you take your pit stop. Looks like a lot of our mid-pack has taken their pit stop. Some of them are opting to stay out. 7 minutes and 30 seconds left in our pit window, so they're going to have to make that decision within the next 2 laps whether they're going to be taking that pit stop. I believe it tracks when you enter the pits as to when your pit stop starts. Might be an opportunity for Fender to make some ground here, and looks like Reed is going into the pits, leaving Fender out there. Not running P6, but that's because he hasn't taken his pit stop. Our lead runner who has taken the pit stop seems to be JJ Burr there. 7 minutes left. As Reed, Flores, and Wolf all go into the pits there. More and more folks trickling in. Portis, on the other hand, lapping a car here. Really trying to make some space between him and Zhang, who is now currently 5.7 seconds behind. Might have to do a little helmet cam here of our leader. As he goes into that back straight, sector 3. And see if he goes into the pits here. Going 5th gear and now heavy braking down into the bus stop chicane. Opting to take another lap. This may be his last lap that he can run before he has to make that decision. Zhang opting to stay out as well. Valero opting to stay out as well. Our 1, 2, and 3 have not taken their pit stop yet. P4 though, Matthias Tutta appears to be going into the pits for his pit stop. We only have a few drivers left. Looks like only about 9-10 drivers who have yet to take their pit stop. Looking down near the end here, we do have some drivers that are taking their pit stop currently. Cromer, far back as he is, has not taken his pit stop either. Let's give some of these other drivers some love here as we go wait for our leaders to get around and hopefully make their pit stops. Kevin Yu making his. We're just past the halfway point of this race with 4 minutes left in our pit window and 26 minutes left in the race. Kenneth Portis running lead with Zhang 5.79 seconds behind. Juan Valero running P3. Fender now running P4, but he has not taken his pit stop yet. And I believe he was running a little bit further back in the pack, so don't believe that it's going to help him get into the lead if he takes his pit stop a little later, but might allow him to get ahead of some of those folks he was battling with. Alphonse as well has yet to take his pit stop. This really is his last lap to be able to make that pit stop. as he just crossed the start finish not too long ago. Looks to be a lot of scuffs and damage on that car. Afonso running P7, but again, he was further back in the pack and has not taken his pit stop yet. As our drivers settle in here, our leader, Portis, is now in the pits with Zhang right behind him. Now, we also have Valero going in too. Maybe exhausted all their attempts of getting a position right there. Possibly. They're all on the same strategy, so they're going to have to make a move count on track, which, given Portis's speed and pace currently on this track, I don't believe is going to be possible by those two. Let's take a look and see what some sort of battles we have going on here. Taking a look at JJ Burr and James Turnbull. As they're duking it out for P7. Right now they're our closest battlers. As they go into Sector 2. Some great racing by a lot of these drivers today in this first round. With 24 minutes left too, I don't think there's going to be any rain, even though there's clouds rolling in. Oh, it appears that Justin Friesen is going in for another pit stop. Not sure what happened there. I know he's already taken his pit stop, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he is green on his pit stop. Must have been something with his setup or with his tire pressures that he maybe messed up. It's too bad to see. This Portis now out on the track after taking his pit stop. Only 40 seconds left. And looking through, it looks like the only person that it hasn't checked off for is Cormer, who is currently in the pits right now, taking his pit stop. So as it stands, everyone has taken their pit. And soon we will have our running order on track as we watch this battle between Burr and Turnbull. Hope you all are enjoying this race. Like I have mentioned before, this is Zealous Racing League ZAD Galaxy Tours Season 8. I am the relatively new announcer for Zealous Racing League. I've raced with Zealous for a little over a year now. And after getting into 2 seasons, I thought I'd try my hand at announcing. And that's why I'm here today. So apologies in advance if maybe my announcing isn't up to professional standards. I'm still an amateur, but as time goes on, we'll get used to it. And as I learn more and more about motorsports, I've been viewing motorsports most of my life and been a big fan since I was a little kid. I'm still kind of getting back into it at this point in my life. I got out of racing for quite a long time, thought it was pretty boring, but now I'm back and loving it more than ever. But there's still quite a lot to learn, Sim racing, there's so much to learn about not only racing in general, the race craft, but each individual car operates very differently. These GT3 cars, even though they're all, they all have a a balance of powers, BOP. Even though they're all kind of balanced out, each one has their strengths and has their weaknesses. You know, cars like the M4, that BMW that JJ Burr's running in, it's quite a versatile car. You know, it's a very stable option. It's easy to drive, very forgiving, very planted. Um, a great car for folks to drive and to learn in and for people to master. But then you take a car like that Honda NSX, which is an absolute bullet in a straight line and is very strong here at Spa-Francorchamps. Oh, looks like we have some issues with Friesen. I hope those weren't self-inflicted idiot issues. Well, I also hope that they're not inflicted by our other drivers. That would really be too bad. Hopefully he can get some respite from maybe a penalty or something after the race. We do, like I said, have stewards that'll review the race after the fact. You really hate to see all of our drivers if they get into any tussles. And I don't want to sound like I do have biases, you know, like I mentioned earlier in the race. I've raced with Slim myself. He's a good friend. Been racing for him for about a year. Been a great help for me personally in my sim racing journey. But as the broadcaster, I don't want to show too much bias. Self-inflicted. Ooh, good. You know, good. It was self-inflicted. Also bad it's self-inflicted. Hate to see that, but at least it wasn't caused by another one of our racers. Something to note here. Juan Valero running P3s, having Tuda close in on him. Tuda is now within, let's see as it goes into the next detection point. Tuda only appears to be a second and a half behind and gaining on Valero. So quite an interesting turn of events there. Another thing to watch is Camacho. I wonder if that's Ricky Scott. No, it's not, but if we watch Wolf and Flores here, another battle going on. Wolf, an admin of ZRL, one of the guys that helps put this league on. And Flores, a longtime runner in these leagues, both of them in the McLaren 720S. And running quite close. Hopes to be some good battles between these guys. Oh, looks like I just got word that Slim Friesen bottomed out on Eau Rouge and spun, causing a self-inflicted accident. So these guys continue to battle it out. Let's go into the helicam here to really see how close they are together. Now this McLaren 720S is the first car that I raced in Zealous Racing League. I actually raced on a team with Slim and his brother, and all of us racing in the 720S. And gotta say, it is a stable car, but doesn't have a lot of torque out of corners. So a bit slow on acceleration, or it just feels a bit sluggish. But overall, even though it feels a little sluggish coming out of corners, it doesn't appear to have too much effect on the overall performance of the car. It seems to still set very fast lap times on almost every track. It's a very stable car, easy to drive. Heard it's very good for beginners. That's why I tried it, and that's why I really wanted to try it. As I've gone into my sim racing journey, though, I have to say, cars like that Audi, I haven't tried the new one, but the old Audi are really great cars. For me personally, I've really enjoyed those cars. They're a little bit more slidey, a little bit more oversteer on those cars. Ooh, looks like Wolf cut it pretty close up Eau Rouge there. Flores taking a wider line, but it looks like Flores has got a lot more speed, but it's not enough to get ahead of Wolf. Our current running order, as we take a look at our drivers, Kenneth Portis still retains that lead. Down this straight, he's almost 10 seconds ahead of P2 Zhang. In P3, we have Juan Valero. And Juan does appear to have... I only seem to have an issue here, a car in the pits, but... And like I said, Valero does seem to be, losing some time to Tada, who's running P4. JJ Burr running P5. Good race for him so far. Fastest lap 2 as well is currently Portis with a 2:18.4. But to be honest, Zhang's fastest lap is a 2:18.5, so that's very close. In P6 we have James Turnbull trying to make a move on Burr, but Burr is eluding him. P7 we have Kevin Yu. P8 Matthew Reed. P9 we have Jeremy Story. And right behind him in P10, a pretty good battle going on here is Matt Fender. P11 we have Chris Rise, a newcomer to Zealous Racing League, and seems to have some fans in the chat, so give some love to your friend Chris, doing quite respectively in that Audi R8. We've got Wolf and Flores behind, P12-13 respectively. Anthony Camacho running P15. Looks like Friesen's behind him. Friesen's a lap car though, so that's not for position. P16 we have Ricky Scott. P17 is Melon Pitch in that Nissan GTR Nismo. P18 Simon Bowdry. 19 is JP Bellinger. 20 is Santello. 21 Afonso. 22 Nicholas Wyatt. 23 Pedro. 24 Justin Friesen. Justin Slim Friesen. 25 Todd Cromer. 26 Sean Dudzik. 27 we have Glenn Pino. Hopefully he's been running well. Seems to be clear of damage as of right now, which is good. Seems to have repaired a lot of that. Just setting some respectable lap times. His best lap that he's been running has been in the 2:22s, which is honestly right up there with a lot of the mid runners in terms of fastest lap. So good work from him. And then holding up, running in the back, we have Ricardo Scapanello, last but not least, in P28. Welcome, Nacho, to the chat. We have 11 minutes, 20 seconds left in this first round of Zealous Racing League. Zealous Racing League's, and looks to be a possible move. Let's take a look at the Helicam as they come up the straight. JJ Burr and James Turnbull. JJ is taking that inside line, protecting, and is able to protect for another corner. And is again holding defensive here. Going into this double apex right-hander down the hill. This is a tricky turn. Going in down the hill again. Absolutely rapid into the left-hander. Trying to keep as much speed as possible. Looks like Turnbull's able to keep a little bit more than Burr. Burr goes a bit wide. And is holding it as they go into the right-left. Burr's going to hope for a good exit here. Gets wide to get a nice wide entry into this long back straight. Looks like he was able to retain a lot of speed, but Turnbull is still close behind. Another thing to note too, we have a battle for P8 between Story, Reed, and Fender. We'll keep watching this battle though, because it seems to be close into the bus stop chicane as they go across the start finish. Burr able to hold the line. Still remains P5. Doesn't even go defensive there. And Turnbull gets a lot narrower of a line going up the straight here, the start finish for GT3. Turnbull getting a little cheeky there going into Eau Rouge and Radeon. But they're keeping it clean right back to back. This is going to be where a move is made, if a move is made at all. Getting so close. Can Turnbull make it happen? No, he can't. JJ is just getting too defensive down that straight. Really not allowing Turnbull any opportunity to make a move. To be honest, I know how JJ is feeling right now. Just trying to eke ahead of Turnbull any way he can, but they're so matched in terms of pace. Turnbull probably faster than JJ, but can't make a move. Just isn't fast enough to make the move. Story, Reed, and Fender. Take a look at those guys going too. Awfully close there between that McLaren, Lamborghini, and Audi. As they come down, sweeping left-hander. 7 minutes left in the race, 7 minutes 38 seconds. Only about 3 or 4 more laps to go. They're gonna need to make a move if they want to gain that track position. As we continue to watch this battle, noting that Tada has not been able to make any more impact on Valero, and Zhang actually setting the fastest lap now of a 2:18.3 and holding as close as he possibly can to Portis. Still in that commanding lead. I can tell Zhang's probably going to be a very strong competitor this season. Very strong here at Spa. You know, with a lot of these new drivers, it's really tough to tell who's going to be the people to watch for. Being the first round, you can only base, I mean, at least I can only base my predictions on what I know. I know KP is a fast driver. I know Valero is a fast driver. I know Burr and Turnbull are pretty good. Reed, Fender, Wolf, all great mid-runners along with Flores. Olsen in there. But to be honest, you know, with a lot of these super fast drivers, there's only so much I can tell. One of the drivers I don't see on the track tonight, Larson, who I know has signed up, another incredibly fast driver that I've had the pleasure of racing with in the GT4 class. Excuse me, just had a little hiccup there. And I can only imagine he's probably fast in the GT3s as well as the GT4s. Let's take a look back at JJ Burr and Turnbull, though, as they continue to battle it out. Everyone else seems to be leveling themselves out a bit. As we go into 5 minutes left, the Audi there of, looks like Wyatt, if I had to guess. Yep, the Audi of Wyatt, leaving plenty of room, a lot of respect there for all the drivers. Making sure to leave the room. Since he's down, he's just wanting to make sure he doesn't cause any incidents. And hold the position he's got, P22. Let's go back to Burr and Turnbull, though, as they go across the start-finish straight. 2 minutes, 43 seconds, 40 seconds left in the race. Something to note as well. Looks like a little off track there. Another off track by Afonso. But these two are getting close as they go up Eau Rouge Raidillon. Looks like this is another attempt. See if Turnbull can do it and make it stick much closer coming out. That might just be what he needs to pull ahead. This could be his chance. He needs to pull ahead. Needs to get that speed. Needs to brake a little later. Can he do it? Can he do it? Going side by side with Burr. Burr holding his own, though. They're holding their lines. Clean, respectful race between the two. And looks like Burr is just pulling out ahead. Very respectful racing by not only these two, but everyone else tonight. That's some great battles by these two. So close. Almost able to make the move happen. Taking a look at Turnbull. Right on the cockpit there. As he tries to get himself closer. Making that move. Like I said, not very many laps left to go. 3 minutes left in the race. Something to note as well, Zhang is closing in on KP. Almost a second a lap now. KP running the 220s. Maybe he put a little bit less fuel than he should have in that car and is having to do some fuel saving. I could bet that might be the case. As Turnbull here down that back straight hopes to get close to Burr. Has to lift a little bit going into the kink. Hopes to get as close as he can. Wants to get as much speed. As he possibly can. Now Zhang is 4 seconds behind our leader, Portis. I bet Portis is doing some fuel saving right now. Cutting it very close. Turnbull as he goes up. Oh, something else to note. Rise has gone into P10, overtaking Flores. Oh, got a off the track there. Car 18 of Dudzik. As tries to make the attempt. He's side by side. As they go back into that same exact situation as they had on the last lap. Noting that this may be one of the last attempts. If we look at Portis here. He's going to get one more lap in, which means everyone else will as well. Race does not end until he crosses the start finish. 1 minute left to go here. Round 1 of the ZADs Galaxy Tour Season 8 here at Spa. as Portis goes on. This is going to be his last lap. Goes in to the hairpin and looks to go up Eau Rouge and ready on. We do have a car in the pits, it seems like there. Car number 6 of Matt Fender. Oh no, looks to be some damage on his car if I had to guess. This is too bad, we're so close to the end of the race. Fender having an incident. Looks like another incident back there as well. The 27 car of Nick Wyatt stopped on the track. This looks like maybe just giving everyone room. I'm not sure. The battle to watch, though, still JJ Burr versus James Turnbull as they go into their last attempt. Turnbull's got to make a move now down this straight, or I have fear he may not be able to make a move at all as we have another off track. Matthew Reed into the wall. Oh no, into the wall on the last lap at the bus stop chicane. That'll promote a few folks. That'll promote Rise into P. Oh, another thing to note. Oh, missed it, but James made the move. It was the last possible attempt for him to do it. But now the battle to watch is Rise versus Flores here, and Wolf coming in close behind. Can Rise hold it off? This is the last attempt they're going to get as well. Stays defensive. Another battle between Audi and, well, it's not a BMW, but it's another battle with an Audi. As they go. Looks like Burr's just not able to hold on at this point. He knows he's lost that position, just wants to hold where he is. And we also have just finished the race for Portis. Sorry, I missed that. KP, Kenneth Portis, P1, Zhang, P2, Juan Valero, P3, Matthias Tutta, P4, Turnbull, and Burr as they come across here. We also have Bellinger, Centello, and Alfonso. P18, 19, 20 already crossed. Turnbull is able to hold it that last lap. Ending P5, Burr, P6, Kevin Yu, P7. Jeremy Story, P8. Chris Rise as they come across the final kink there. And it looks like Wolf was able to make a move on Flores. Looks like it's going to be Chris Rise, P9. Calvin Wolf, P10. Christopher Flores, P11. And as we look, Reed, after having that incident on the last lap there, is going to end the race, P12. Olsen right behind him, P13. Camacho, Scott, and Pitch close behind. 14, 15, 16. With Friesen also crossing, P24. Friesen probably a little bit frustrated there, goes straight into the wall. As we have our last driver cross Glen Pino in 25. So there you have it, folks, our final race results. First round of the ZADs Galaxy Tour Season 8 is P1. Oh, I just missed it, but P1 was P1 was Kenneth Portis. P2 Zhang, and P3 was Juan Valero. Congratulations to our podium sitters. Great race from all of them. Great race from everyone, keeping it clean at Spa today. That's a tough track. Oh, just got news in the chat. Reed, his VR ran out on the last lap. His battery ran out. That's why he ran straight into the wall. Oh my goodness. A lot of drama out on track today. Oh my goodness. Um, excellent race from everyone involved. Um, wow. Just a fantastic round here at Spa-Francorchamps in beautiful Belgium. Didn't rain for the race, but looks like it's raining now. But wonderful race from everyone. Congratulations to KP, Zhang, and Valero, our three pole sitters, or our three podium sitters. And to everyone else for coming out. 28 drivers on the grid tonight. Excellent turnout. Hopefully we have a few more next round. Um, Next week we have round 2. It's going to be a mystery track. We're going to be having our racers vote on what track they'd like from the handful of tracks that are not already selected for our series, for the series. If they're not already in the running order, they're open for um, a vote from everyone involved. So as of right now, the race for next week is an unknown, but you can bet that I'll be here next week, 8 p.m. Central. Probably start that stream a little bit before, like I did tonight, at about 7:45 Central. We're going to have round 2 of ZAD's Galaxy Tour Season 8, brought to you by Zealous Racing League. Thank you all for coming out tonight for this wonderful race. If you're interested in joining our community, please be sure to click the link to our Discord that's on our YouTube page and join our Discord server, where we have information on upcoming leagues happening in the future and information on the current leagues as well. Also, if you're just looking for a community of like-minded sim racers that are out there, looking to have fun, looking to improve their racecraft, look no further than Zealous. We're here for you for those needs, and if you need, we can help you along your sim racing journey. We have plenty of folks who have been in the scene for quite a long time, can help you out. So again, my name is Shim. Thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to share Zealous with anyone you might know, and please join us again next week for round 2 at an unknown track for season 8 of Zealous Racing League, ZAD's Galaxy Tour. Thank you again, guys, so much for joining us. Hope you all have a wonderful night. You all stay safe out there and have a wonderful week. I'll talk to you all next week. Thank you and have a wonderful night. Peace.